Welcome into the Nashville Game Changers podcast. I'm your host, Jill Jelnick. Safe to say that it is an exciting time to be a soccer fan here in Nashville. Not only is Nashville SC off to a hot start to start the 2026 season, but also so many exciting events coming to Geodis Park this year and also in the future. Olympic matches, we're talking about hosting a FIFA World Cup team. The list goes on and on. And of course, it takes a village to put all these events together and make that magic happen. But one of the masterminds behind it all is the Nashville SC Chief Business Officer, Lindsey Paola, joining us now on Nashville Game Changers podcast. Lindsey, this is a crazy time for you. Thanks for making the time to come here.
Well, thank you. But I think it's also important to know that it's a team of people at Nashville Soccer Club that are doing all of these amazing things.
Team, village, club, yes.
Whatever you want to call it.
I love not only that it's the start of the soccer season, and I want to get into the boys in gold and how great they've been doing so far, undefeated to start 2026, and a lot of exciting matches coming up, including the round of 16. However, I first want to start with all the fun events that are coming up this year, including a special announcement that you guys are just about to make that involves Liverpool.
Liverpool. Yeah, actually my favorite EPL team. So when I first got into watching English Premier League soccer, Liverpool was my team. So I'm very excited. Liverpool's coming on July 25th to play Sunderland. So it should be a good match. It's the second time we've hosted an EPL team. Last year we played Aston Villa, tied them. So it was Nashville SC versus Aston Villa. This year it's Liverpool versus Sunderland, but it'll be a great match.
First time Liverpool's ever been to Geodis Park. That match, that friendly, right, will be at Geodis Park this summer. Yeah,
they're doing a tour. It's part of the TEG summer soccer series. So they're going to a few locations throughout the country, and they're going to be at Geodis Park for the first time ever. And obviously, our former CEO was the CEO of Liverpool, so there's a very cool tie there.
That's right, Ian Eyre, correct? Yes,
Yep.
Lots of really cool ties.
Yeah.
I imagine that the soccer fans in Nashville, but also just major sports fans, are going to really enjoy that. As you guys have just announced it, that's a huge addition to the summer schedule for you guys.
I think it's a great addition, but I would actually argue it's not just fans in Nashville, it's fans throughout the country, right? People love coming to Nashville in the summer, and now why not come to Nashville because Liverpool is playing a friendly here?
Exactly.
So it's great for the city.
Yeah, and that obviously that's not the only thing going on this summer. We have the
one or two other things.
Just one or two other things. Let's go ahead and jump right into the FIFA World Cup. Obviously, several years ago, the city was disappointed that Nashville couldn't be a host city. However, next best thing,
that's right.
Nashville gets to host the Japanese men's national team, and right in our backyard. I know that was a secret you had to keep for a long time. How did that come to fruition?
So we'd had conversations with the Japanese delegation for a long time. We met some folks, I guess it was over a year ago. They had visited the country and went to different stops around the country, and they came to Nashville. So there was always a dialogue. And then when this came up in the summer, we hosted them for a dinner. And all of this has been done in coordination with the CVC and the mayor's office. So it's the great collaboration you get here in Nashville. And as their group draw was announced and they figured out where they'd be playing their group stage matches, they looked at a couple cities, but they decided Nashville was close proximity to where they're playing. So they're playing in Dallas twice and Monterey once during the group stage. And then, of course, we have a brand new facility. The training center is only a few years old, 2 years old, and it's just a great option for them. Good proximity to their venues that they have to play in, brand new facilities, and a city that is made for this sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. And like world-class facility, great training facility. And also, I think it's worth noting, when Nashville helped host the FIFA Club World Cup, it showed you guys could be not only put on the map just in the country, but when it comes to soccer facilities, when it comes to hosting major soccer events, I'm sure that was very attractive.
Yeah, I mean, we've had other international teams last year, clubs at our training facility. And then anytime we have these friendlies, they're also using our training facility. So it's had an ability to host all different teams and clubs in the past couple of years. So we've practiced, and now we really get to trial it out with the Japanese delegation being here for about a month.
For anyone that maybe doesn't understand just the magnitude of what it is to be able to host a FIFA World Cup team, how would you explain it?
It's a good question. I think, Japan expects to be very good this year and make it hopefully to the final, right? That's what we hope. So when you've got one of the top teams putting it all on the line to train at our facility. I mean, it's obviously a very huge tournament for any country. And so they're putting their faith in our facilities to help them train and prepare for these matches that are life-changing for teams like that. So I just think if you put all that together, it really is a big moment for us to be a part of their journey.
A part of their journey and a huge feather in the cap for Nashville. This is a city that's been growing astronomically when it comes to a soccer city, right? Nashville SC first got started 2016, but didn't even start playing MLS matches until 2020. And in terms of the city before that, it was the Titans, it was the Predators, it was, still very much Southern roots, right? And soccer didn't exactly fit in that frame. But now, fast forward 10 years later, this is a very big soccer city.
Yeah. So when I started in 2017, we were preparing for our minor league season, and I remember thinking when I was at the baseball park, which where we used to play, right? Who's going to show up? Is anybody going to show up? It was a monsoon too. I mean, it was terrible weather. We were playing Atlanta United too, and people did show up. It was great. And then fast forward to 2020, we have a massive stadium to fill at Nissan Stadium. And I was out having breakfast with my parents, and all I saw were Atlanta United fans. And I was thinking, oh gosh, are we going to have anybody in the stadium? Is it going to just be all Atlanta United? I get chills thinking of it, actually. All Atlanta United fans, but it wasn't. We had 59,000 people in that venue, and it was a good mix of Atlanta United fans and Nashville SC fans, and the vibe and the energy was so amazing. We've got the sound wave from the first goal that was scored down at our stadium. There's an image of it. Unfortunately, we all know what happened not long after. We obviously had the tragic tornado and then, of course, COVID. But it was a great start in 2020.
Hey, what a year. My goodness. Not only for Nashville SC, but just Nashville in general with the tornado. I forgot about that. The club has quickly grown. A lot of success. Playoff appearances, obviously. Hani Mukhtar several years ago, the Golden Boot, just an exciting club that continues to grow. And it seems like these events are almost as if it's the next natural progression for a club that continues to grow in popularity too.
Yeah. I was actually trying to see what other big tournaments can we bid on, right? It feels like we've got the FIFA, Club World Cup last year. Well, we don't have the World Cup this year. We obviously have the Japanese delegation. We know we've got the Olympics coming in 2028, which no one expected, right? And we've got a couple other bids out there, but it's just there's so many different opportunities and so many different ways to program Geodis Park. It's really exciting. It's just constantly thinking outside of the box of what we can do in that venue.
Before we jump to that Olympic bid, 2028, you mentioned kind of the process of bidding. How would you explain that to someone when it comes to trying to bring these massive international events to Nashville?
Well, and that's why I say it's a team. At the top, I said it's a team involved in all of this because obviously I have oversight and I get to be involved, but it's the team doing the work that really, really matters. And we've got some amazing people on our staff, and our operations team in particular really gets in the weeds on these bids. And the FIFA Club World Cup bid was a bear to get through. It was the contracts back and forth, and it was a lot of work. And then when we got approved, we had all the stuff. We had the due diligence. I mean, it was exhausting. And sometimes it was like, is this worth it? And obviously it was worth it. And why it was really worth it is we had a great time hosting the Club World Cup matches, but all of those materials that we put together for the Club World Cup, we were able to use for our Olympics bid. And so I want to tell everybody that the Olympics bid was onerous and hard and difficult, but it actually wasn't because we had done a lot of the work already. And so we were able to take a lot of that and put that into the bid last summer. And that's how eventually everything got submitted to the LA28 host committee, and then they made the determination that we were one of the venues that was selected.
You're listening to the Nashville Game Changers podcast with Lindsey Paola, the Chief Business Officer for Nashville SC. We'll be right back after this. You made the announcement at the start of the new year that Nashville will be one of 7 cities that will be able to host Olympic soccer matches for the 2028 LA Olympics. My first question to you, I know that took a long time to get there. How hard was that keeping that secret?
That's the worst secret to have to keep because it's such a fun, good secret. I joke that in my government life, my job was to keep secrets, right? But those were usually not fun, glamorous secrets to keep. So those were easy. This, though, was so exciting, and I'm such an Olympics geek that I just was dying to tell people. And originally, the announcement was supposed to be in December of 2025. And then they delayed it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to keep this for another month or more. But now that it's out, we can talk about it. It's great. We're super excited. We can't wait until we get the match schedules and all that, which I don't know when that will be, but we're really excited. There will be a lot of work that we have to do with the LA committee, and they're fantastic to work with. So it should be fun.
We, like you said, we should find out more eventually this year, next year, of course. What we know so far now is that they will be group stage matches, right? The beginning of the soccer matches, and also men's and women's soccer matches, or we don't know yet?
We don't know that officially.
Okay. Yeah.
That would be my assumption,
yeah.
but we don't know that officially. I also understand that they're playing from the East Coast to the West Coast because they finish at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of details that they will share eventually. We just don't have those yet, but like I said, they are fantastic to work with. We did a call with them recently, and they'll be in Nashville a lot of times between now and 2028. Seems like it's far off, but 2028 is actually not that far off.
No, it's going to be right around the corner. I keep thinking accidentally that we're in 2027.
I do too.
I like missed 2026 somehow.
I know.
I don't know what we're doing. When the city found out, I know, of course, you work with the city with all these big tournaments and bids, and when the city found out, what was their reaction? What was the reception?
I think they were just as excited. I mean, how can you not be, right? I don't know that many people ever thought about Nashville being part of an Olympic Games, especially because we know LA is on the West Coast and we are not. But being able to be a part of it is huge. Anytime that we can bring people to the city, it benefits everybody. And I would assume that everybody was very excited about it. I mean, I was. Giddy, actually, is probably a better way to describe it.
What was the most exciting part for you when it finally all came through?
I think seeing other people's excitement. It was interesting. I'm in this program, and somebody randomly asked, before the Olympics announcement, she randomly asked a panelist if we could ever see the Olympics in Nashville. And I was thinking to myself, and the panelist was like, I don't know. And I'm thinking, how does she know that we're going to have the Olympics? But she didn't. She randomly asked that question, and it was so funny because I was like, oh, I can't wait to tell you that we actually will have Olympic matches in Nashville. So seeing other people's reaction was very cool.
For Nashville SC, obviously, the MLS season, which is going to change the schedule, the actual months and the calendar year will change starting next season. Yep. It will have a effect on that Olympic summer.
Yeah, and so the bid was actually done in coordination with Soccer United Marketing, which is the marketing arm of Major League Soccer. And so it works out nicely with the break now in the summer because of the calendar change. We can host these soccer matches for the Olympics. So it actually created an opportunity for us.
So not only will you have Nashville SC season, you will have the Olympic season. It will be double the soccer for all of our soccer
2028
fans.
will be the year of club and country. We'll have our club playing and we'll have the country playing.
Gosh,
countries.
That's so exciting. That, like we said, it's going to be here before you know it. Stay with us. You're listening to the Nashville Game Changers podcast with Nashville SC Chief Business Officer Lindsey Paola. We'll be right back after this. Let's talk about the boys in gold a little bit. Yeah. We knew coming off of the success last season, BJ Callahan, first full season as the head coach of the soccer club. There's a lot of excitement, the playoff appearance, of course, Champions Cup. Open Cup. Open Cup. Yep. Thank you. Yep. Thank you. Champions Cup, which they are in this currently.
Yeah. A little confusing, but that's okay.
So much excitement surrounding this club. And for the media that continue to cover them on a regular basis, right? We follow the season, the success, but for you guys, when you're there with them every day, whether it's training, preseason, you see it in advance. How special did you know last year's team was going to be before they really took off in the summer?
So I don't obviously get too involved in the soccer side. Mike Jacobs and his team, they run that ship and they obviously run it very well. But when we work on budgeting, based on the conversations that we were having, I have to get my years right, in 2024 about how the 2025 season would look, I just knew something was going to be different. We were very excited as we were doing the budgeting, and it's kind of hard to explain how the budgeting ties with the roster, but it does, right?
It does.
And it was the excitement that I kept feeling from the soccer side of the business. I was like, all right, something is going to be special about 2025. And it obviously was. And it was very cool to be in Austin and be there when they won. It was a little bit surreal. Like I just felt like I was following the motions and going where I was told, but not really soaking it in because it was so surprising. The last few minutes of the match were very stressful. I was eating candy like very rapidly. That's my, stress reliever, right? Mm-hmm. But BJ and Mike and their teams just did such an amazing job building that roster and getting us to the point that we won Open Cup. And so I knew there was going to be an exciting year in 2025. And that same excitement probably multiplied going into this season, which we've seen already with our best start yet.
Yeah, so. Undefeated, 3-1, technically 3-0-1.
Yes.
The one tie. But how about the 11 goals so far through the first 4 games? I mean, talk about an offensive explosion.
I had to relook at that number. I was like, 11 goals, really already? Yes, it is 11 goals. That's pretty impressive, I'd say, right?
And especially this early in the season, and head coach BJ Callahan talked about it a lot. They really worked in the preseason trying to build that chemistry, trying to get to know the new players, right? Christian Espinoza being one of them, an exciting player playing with Hani. And it just, the chemistry is something from any sport. It takes us some time to develop, but it seems to be here very early in the season. Yeah. So excited to see how that continues to develop and transpire. And of course, they have the Champions Cup, round of 16. Inter Miami, I swear, is it me or every time we turn around, it's like Inter Miami and Lionel Messi is right there waiting for Nashville SC. It's like the villain of Nashville SC's heroic tale.
I think it'll be 20 times that we play them. We play them on March 11th. Mm-hmm. And it's just wild. And when the draw happened for CCC, we were all like, no, right? But it's okay. It's fine. We're going to beat them. It's all right. The one thing I would add, just backtracking a little bit, it's really fun and interesting to talk to BJ about culture and leadership and those sorts of qualities. It's something he cares very deeply about, and I think you see that on the field with the way the players interact with one another. And so I haven't had a chance to catch up with him in a while, but I do enjoy just talking to him about it. He's so fascinating, and I really do think that's what you see on the field.
And it transpires. Yeah, exactly. Lindsey, you didn't always start in soccer. You alluded to your government job and the secrets before. How did you get to the soccer field from the political field?
Yeah. So it technically was politics, but I always like to qualify that. So I went to school in Washington, D.C. at George Washington, worked on the 2004 presidential. It was 2004. Man, years are just like
Bush and Cheney.
Yeah, Bush Cheney. I was trying to make sure it was 2004. And then when they won, I worked on the inaugural, and I was fortunate they had kind of a should hire, don't hire, must hire list for the White House. And so I was lucky enough to get a job in the White House, which is very cool. But when you're that young, you do not appreciate what you are doing. And I wish I could go back and redo it and really, really appreciate, walking through the West Wing or the White House late at night. It was just beautiful. But then I went on to the State Department, Department of Defense, and eventually I realized I needed to get out of the government for a variety of reasons. I went back home and I was doing something I wasn't really enjoying. And so I spent a lot of time thinking about what I wanted to do. And I come from a family of public servants. My older brother's in the Army. My twin brother is a teacher. My mom was a special education paraprofessional, and my dad was a state cop. So public servants, I was one myself, and I really wanted to do something where I could give back. And while my job is very revenue focused, I do feel like in sports, you can give back and you can do good in the world. And so I looked at sports teams, and long story short, I ended up in Nashville when we were a minor league team.
Okay, so from
weird little journey, but it's been
the White House to the soccer field, not just the political field.
Yeah.
Wow,
I am not in politics now. I stay far out of it. And what I was doing in DC was very logistical. It wasn't policy or any of that stuff. We got to travel the world on Air Force Two and just wild things.
Wow, it's almost like you lived a little bit of another life.
Yeah, kind of is. But again, the sad part is that when you're that young, you don't. I mean, I had a desk in the West Wing of the White House. That's very cool, and I was very lucky. But you don't appreciate it as much as you might when you're a little bit older.
But you do now.
I do now. Yeah,
you do now.
Yeah.
How about this for a question? Any skills or lessons you learned from that chapter of your life that have helped transition over to this new chapter as chief business officer?
So many. One of the things that's always been really important to me is like loyalty and authenticity. And whether you like the Bush administration, you didn't like them, whatever, that doesn't really matter. But those were characteristics that were very important to the Cheney family and to the Bush family. And those were things I learned early on in my career. I think authenticity is very important. One of the things I admired about the vice president is that he didn't really care what others thought about him. He did what he believed was right. And I think that's a hard thing to do. Sometimes as a leader, we feel like we have to sway based on, how we please or don't please people. And I admired that about him. But there's so many other tidbits that I've learned throughout my different journeys. And sometimes in the jobs that are the hardest, I think you actually learn the most. And in those challenging moments, you learn the most about yourself. And those are things that I've kind of picked up in the many years I've been on this planet working.
And now, how do you enjoy this chapter that you're currently in right now in Nashville?
Yeah. Some days I have to pinch myself because the best anecdote I can give is when I was in Connecticut, I was a season ticket member of NYCFC. I was obviously a soccer fan. I lived outside the city, so my twin brother and I would go to matches. And I would never in a million years have imagined I'd later be running a Major League Soccer team, the business side. Never would have guessed that. So it is a very surreal in many ways. But the best part, and I know people will think, oh, she's just saying that to say it. But the best part of my job is the people. 100%, it's the people.
It makes a huge difference.
We have such an amazing team of people, the ones that I've talked about, and I feel very lucky to get to work with them. We also have amazing ownership group. Our ownership group is amazing. And so I feel very lucky.
Yeah. It seems like even though maybe you weren't as much in the moment as you would have liked when you were in the White House, you seem to be soaking up every single second you can now.
I try. Yeah.
You're making up for that. Yeah. Full circle. For someone that doesn't maybe understand what a day-to-day would be like for you, what is a typical match day for you?
Match day
might be a fun day for you.
Yeah, yes. Match days are kind of fun. So now I am fortunate enough that I just usually sit with our ownership group and sit and watch. But obviously, if something goes wrong, which it never does, but if something were, that would be something I would handle. And then, we entertain a lot of different people as well. And sometimes there's award presentations. But the best part about my job outside of match days is it's never the same. And I love that. I love that every day is different. One day I'll walk into the office and think, okay, I have all these things to do, and I'll end up doing nothing on that list because it's just changed based on whatever issue needs to be solved. So I love that.
Yeah. It keeps things moving. Never
challenges your brain.
Yes. And never a dull moment, right? No. You look up and you're like, oh, okay, wow, where did this week go?
Yep. So that's what I love about my job.
Yeah. Okay, how about this? You said you were obviously a soccer fan as you were growing up. But anything you've learned about the sport since you've now been able to take a different perspective of soccer?
Ooh, wow, that's a good question. I don't know that there's anything different per se. I think, like I said, I got into sports because I feel like you can do good through sports. And I've really seen that. We get to do so much good for this community through our stadium, through our sports team, through our athletes, through our staff. And I don't think I understood how much good we actually can do. And that's one of the things that I've noticed that I very much enjoy. We have an amazing community engagement team, and they do so many things, and I love that. That's just very cool.
You guys do a wonderful job. And going back to the people you work with wonderful people, Sean Lansing, all of them. And
he's pretty good.
He's pretty good too. And also, when it comes to the community, we love covering those community events. I know it's going to be a busy summer with the FIFA World Cup also on Fox 17. So we'll be out there at Geodis covering those events. You guys do a wonderful job, and we're grateful to work with people like you guys.
We appreciate it. And I think it's really important to emphasize, though, we do it because we want to do it. It's not about the press, none of that stuff. It's because it's what we want to do, and it's the right thing to do, and it's very important for our owner. I mean, it's part of the reason he wanted to buy this team and put this team in Nashville. It's his hometown. It's the legacy he wants to leave for this city.
And Nashville is better because of it. And Nashville Game Changers.
Yeah, there you go.
Before we let you go, Lindsey, let's finish with our In My Opinion segment. This is where you could go off script, wherever you want to take it. Doesn't have to be about soccer. Doesn't have to be about Nashville. Just whatever's been on your mind lately. What do you got?
It's a recent topic that I get very passionate about. Madison Chalk and Evan Bates, the U.S. ice dance team, should have won gold.
Okay, let's hear it. Give me your debate.
I was an ice skater growing up. I dabbled in ice dance. I was terrible at it, by the way. I don't understand rhythm and I don't hear it, which is a key driver in being a good ice dancer. And I think after watching them, even to the untrained eye, the French who won had mistakes that you could see, in addition to mistakes that even as somebody who did just a little bit of ice dance couldn't see. Like, they had many mistakes, but the French judge rated them high, which is interesting because it's the French team that won. So there's actually a very good documentary on Netflix called Glitter and Gold. And it was filmed before the Olympics, and it's about these three teams, the Americans, the French, and the Canadians. And if you watch it, you'll see this drama play out between these three teams. And then you, knowing the Olympics result, know that the French actually beat the Americans.
Wow. Wait, Glitter and Gold.
Glitter and Gold.
Oh,
I mean, in skating, there's always drama.
Yeah.
It's the perfect name.
Historically, too, right?
Yeah.
We had Scott, speaking of figure skaters, we had the one and only Scott Hamilton
the best.
on our podcast as our Nashville Game Changer. Talk about someone that really is making an impact on Nashville. He's one of them.
Wonderful human.
And he is so much fun to talk to and obviously watch on the ice.
So humble, too.
So humble, yes. So, yeah, you were a figure skater. So
I wasn't very good.
Yeah.
But.
Well, I trust your opinion then. You have way more credibility than I do when it comes to
Scott Hamilton would have even more credibility than I would.
What do you think Scott Hamilton would say?
He's too nice and diplomatic. He's talked about, I think he's said things, but not as explicitly as I have.
Yeah,
I think the Americans should have won gold.
Okay, there you go. Well, here in our podcast, the Americans should have won gold. It's official. Lindsey, thank you so much. We obviously will continue to be with you guys all throughout this year. We have, of course, round of 16 coming up, Champions Cup for the Nashville Soccer Club. We obviously have the FIFA World Cup with a bunch of watch parties. Hosting the Japanese men's team. And then 2 years from now, we will be hosting Olympic matches for the 2028 Olympics. So busy couple years ahead. Thanks for taking the time. And thanks for being a Nashville Game Changer.
Well, we appreciate you having us. And thank you for all of your support, previous seasons and this upcoming season. So thank you.
Go Nashville SC.
Yes. There we go.
Thanks so much for listening to the Nashville Game Changers podcast. Be sure to tune in next week for our new guest. And as always, be sure to check us out on social media and YouTube. And when you're there, please like and subscribe.